good evening, everybody. Welcome aboard. I think you guys can hear me loud and clear. Well, happy Sunday. Happy blessed Sunday, everybody. It's officially the last, so it's going to be the last time we'll see that Christmas / winter stream. I really love that thing. That took me a good bit to do. More effort than what the Coca-Cola company can do with their billion-dollar marketing budget. Yeah, it's we're all here, guys. Hello, how's it going, everybody in the audience on Discord? ACB, Star Force, Minor Tree, Windrammer. Hello, everybody. Richard King, Tomokun, Georgie Zukov. Hello, yeah. Trump is passing his tariffs. This is an interesting time. So we're gonna open up things here for everybody over here. Let me just make sure I have the chat up here on OBS just to make sure, because for some reason it doesn't do that half the time. There we go. Technology, you gotta love it sometimes, but hey, it's what it is. So there we go. Okay, there we are. Yeah, the wallpaper there. It's not mine. I don't have that much technicality to do 3D rendering like that. I wish I did, because then the video editing would be a heck of a lot better now for what I was planning for. But yeah, that is really nice. If all trains in America could have a bar, or at least we have some trains in America that had like an Art Deco bar that looked like this, you know, we'd be a much better country. Come on, let's be honest. And the income tax will be canceled. Let's see how that goes. Let's see how this goes. I'm pretty excited for what's going on. Apart from that, there have been some pretty terrible things that have happened this week. First of all, if you guys have seen this DC crash over here, I'll let you guys go in about it. I saw this basically happen in, I wouldn't say real time, but turned on the TV and at about 8:47 when the report started coming in. And of course, everybody's going to come on here and armchair quarterback, and you have all these experts that come on what could have happened, what could not have happened, etc. I mean, it's terrible all around. And it's not just one crash that happened this week. You had another crash that happened this week as well in Philadelphia. It's pretty terrible all around, all over the place. But I mean, that was just I don't know. I mean, it just tells you, if that's not enough, that we had a near accident that happened over on United Airlines. Let's see if I can. There you are. Another fire. So yeah, everything is on fire. But speaking of fires, California finally, after almost a month, have been able to contain the Palisades fire. So it's only taken that much. Yeah, we got a lot of work to get fixed up here in this country. There is just so much to really get going here. We're really working on the bones of a rotting infrastructure. It has crumbled. That's the thing. We're working on a crumbled infrastructure. You cannot fairly say that America is a developed country. We're de-developing. We're undeveloping. Whichever grammar, however way you want to put it, we're not developed. We're going backwards. So it's only a matter of time before things start to really heat off, where this is just going to be happening every day, where there's going to be planes falling every day. Not that that's, again, it's a pretty terrible thing, but just look at what we have in terms of cars. Okay, at least 42,000 people dying in automobile accidents every year. That's a full Airbus A380 every week dying on America's roads. There has to be something else. There is something else. We know there's something. That's why we have this channel. That's why we have this club, because we know it is. And I mean, look at this. Even in Miami, you have towers that are sinking into the ocean over here. The Porsche design tower. How many millions of dollars or billions that they spent on this? But Lionel Messi spent $9 million for an apartment on here, and that's falling down. But we can't even build fast enough. It's falling apart faster than we are building it. I mean, just look at what's going on in California with this the high-speed concrete. There we go. More concrete, guys. More concrete. It's only taken 10 years for them to make more concrete. That's it. This is what $100 billion in California is going for. People voted for it to get done. It hasn't been done. The fire started, and that didn't get that. Look at this. Look at this. This is a little silly. Okay, when you have countries like in South Korea, and I'll show that later on. I mean, how they're a mile a day in Korea or in China. And this is what we have. This is it. But oh man, guys, yeah, it's look, it's and on one way it's getting better, but the thing is that we have a lot to do. It takes a lot more effort to fix something up than it is to destroy it. Okay, because I could just go like this in the whole entire room and just go wham, just slap everything down, and that's kind of what. Again, I'm not blaming the whole boomer generation or anything like that, but that's kind of what, or you know, let's say your generation of leaders. Okay, in the last 50 years, let's put it that way. Our generation of leaders, because it wasn't just baby boomers. I mean, there was silent generation in there and wherever else who was in charge. Forget that. I mean, our leaders, and they just it's a compound effect, right? Because once you destroy something, that you get that ball rolling, and it's just really hard to go ahead, catch the momentum, and reverse that. So that's what we're up against here, guys. But I mean, look, we're feeling better that at least things are going to get, but some people aren't. If you guys are familiar with Alan Fisher on YouTube and the Armchair Urbanist, he's made some good videos and I like his points, but he's been having a panic attack this week. So pray for Alan here because he hasn't been having such a good time. He says, quote, split between wanting the military to coup d'etat and wanting a failed economy to finally scar people from voting Republican for the next 16 years. Leaning towards coup because the American public is so stupid for their own good. Also, Cheeto Benito getting shot would be funny. Come on, Alan. Come on. Look, we survived Obama. You survived Trump first time. We survived Biden, if he was even in charge. Okay? We're fine. Relax. Just chill. Everybody's just has to calm down. I mean, look, Alan, look, you're fine, man. And I didn't want to reply to this. I just let it go. But I mean, yeah, look, whew, guys, just it's not even as much as we're getting there. We have bigger problems to deal with. Okay, so the economy gets better. Why are you complaining about that? Just relax. All right. Let's let people into the audience over here. But before I do that, this stream is not sponsored. But if I were to have it sponsored, this brewing company is really doing a good job of trying to get that. This caught my eye. So this is the last Christmas stream. It's February 2nd. It's Groundhog Day. It's Candlemas. It's a good day. So we're rounding it all out over here. I mean, this is nice. Yeah, pray for souls like him. Not all is bad, Mr. Fisher. Yeah, get out there and just relax. Look, it's as much as we rail about how bad things are. Okay, look, we could be doing better. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's not. Look, we're in a nice place. We got a roof over our heads. Relax. Okay, just relax. Thank you, Tomo-kun, for that. But yeah, this is, if you guys love, probably one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time is Christmas Vacation. So this is Cousin Eddie's Blackberry Sour. It's some Black Dog Brewing Company. They actually made, and it's pretty good. I had it. It's a pint, real blackberries, absolutely no pixie dust from the Tilt-A-Whirl added. This is high quality item, Clark. High quality item from Mooresville, Indiana. This is funny, and I'll just put that there. You guys can pause that later on and just read that. But yeah, this is fun. So anyway, boy, let me see. Georgie's asking, Georgie, how is your opinion on Trump's second time? Now, I think he's doing. I give him an A right now. I wouldn't say A plus, but I would say an A. Definitely, I'm giving him an A. He's moving fast. The tariffs that he's putting out or whatever, it's hilarious. It honestly, it's just saying that America is back, and I'm really also glad for. I would say it's been a tough week for Sean Duffy as well. He hasn't even been there for a week, and he went immediately to the crash site in DC to go ahead and go on there. Now, things are still too early to say what exactly happened, but. I mean, I have my thoughts about it. I'll let you guys chime in because this is what we are. We're a club, right? So let's bring everybody in over here. Let's go ahead. Let's bring in David, and then we'll bring everybody else 5 minutes after each and everybody, and we're all here. Alrighty.
Oh, you doing good, bud?
Hey, good. I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Doing good. I gotta wait a few hours before my coworker get off before I head home.
Oh man, they've been putting you on these
Stuck
late
at
shifts
work
now lately,
again.
man. These late shifts over.
Um. Oh yeah, that for sure. But not even a few hours after the plane crashes happen, guess who we getting blamed for it?
Who?
Trump. They're already blaming
I
him.
mean, I don't think
Kind of
that's even
funny.
him. He just came in. Let me see. Ice is saying, so you're just turning
I
in, but you're a
know.
Trump apologist. No, absolutely not, Ice. I will rail on Trump when he does something that I don't like. Look, I haven't even liked after 2017 what he pulled off in Syria. That's when I was just trying to get off the Trump train. It's like, all right, here we go again. This is gonna be the same crap over again, and it's come on. Let's just no, I'm not all on the Trump train. It's not like, he's going to save everything. No, absolutely not. That's ridiculous. Come on. Yeah, I give him an A. I give him an A for he's look, the whole point of why do I even have to go even into this? Yeah, he's been doing now pushing our power of what America should be a heck of a lot more than what the last guy did. He's changing things around. And people are more optimistic about what's going on. I would say I definitely give him an A, mainly because what he did when he went to North Carolina and when he went to Los Angeles and really started getting things, I wouldn't say under control, but how he showcased himself and said we need to get things done. 18 months is way too long. There's a lot more that we can be doing. Let's put it that way. He took charge, took control, and started at least saying that, and started getting more responsibility towards really trying to fix what's wrong right
Hmm.
now. So that's what I would say. But
Oh,
anyway, yeah,
but
I'm gonna let
but
that
I
go.
do get.
Let everybody else talk.
Oh, I know. But I got some good news. You remember last week when I was talking about the rail system up in Vermont and Maine and New Hampshire?
Yeah.
They got an updated article, and I just sent it in the link of the live chat.
All right, let's check that out.
It it looking very promising on how they're going to do this and reactivating the old rail.
Okie dokie. Alrighty. So Vermont rail system moves to restore portion of Maine Central line. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Burlington, Vermont. Trains could return to a long dormant section of the former Maine Central Mountain subdivision in New Hampshire and Vermont, according to the present Vermont rail system. The company operates 56-mile short line New Hampshire Central in the northwest corner of the Granite State. There are transload opportunities on the route, says Selden Houghton, not quite sure how his last name is pronounced there, but apologies if I butchered it, head of the Vermont company that operates 7 railroads in its home state, as well as New York and New Hampshire until the middle of this 20th century. Maine Central and Boston and Maine crisscross the region, serving a large number of paper mills and other forestry product businesses. Those facilities are long gone, as are most of the railroad branches. Isn't that that's the other thing that I've noticed is that a lot of
Mm-hmm.
when manufacturing really started to leave the country, you also started seeing the death knell of a lot of smaller railroads and more consolidation of those railroads, because you had a heck of a lot more short
Mm-hmm.
lines and a lot more a lot that you didn't have as what we have the
Oh,
class ones now. You had a lot of larger,
oh
yes,
yeah,
large
that for
companies, but
sure.
yeah, you had more of these because they were mostly serving, whether it was steel mills, paper mills, whichever else, all these raw materials that we had here in this country. Yeah, and that's really the big thing that I like about what Trump is doing with these tariffs is that it's trying to push manufacturing. It's like get out of Canada, get out of Mexico, and come back over here. Okay, I don't want any more American vehicles being made in Mexico. Okay, because the whole point
Oh
of
yeah,
making
that
this
for sure.
look, this is the thing. The whole point of making these things over and overseas was to make them cheaper, but they're not cheaper for us. Okay, how much is a Dodge Ram starting now?
Mm-hmm.
That's no. The cars cost more than they ever have. Everything is costing more than they ever have, and we're making more overseas than we ever have been. Meanwhile, people are
Mm-hmm.
out of work.
And
Yeah, no, I'm not a Trump apologist, but I'm saying what we need for America. And if Trump is doing that, then go ahead. That's enough.
mm-hmm.
Okay,
Oh
please
yeah,
center text on the screen.
and
Sorry about that. Hold on, let me get that centered. There we go. All right.
all right, and also Dimitri, what I'll be bringing up is that how they're doing it is they're going to do it like slowly, like they're doing what R.J. Corman did to the old Carolina Southern line back in 2012, because technically back in 2014, because we had a rail line that went dormant for about 7 years that was abandoned in Myrtle Beach County. R.J. Corman bought the railroad and rebuilt it from the ground up, and they're making more money now after they rebuilt the line from the ground up. It was completely abandoned in 2011,
Yeah,
about 4 to 5 years.
there's a lot of business that can be made. There's a lot of jobs that can be going around. Again,
And and
yeah,
and how it looks, I see what Vermont rail system is doing. What I think is really brilliant, because one, this is what I'm going to say, is that the line that they're rebuilding does have a lot of customers starting to come back on the area. So if they could get the track infrastructure rebuilt and put in, they're already set once they start doing that. And then with the whole transflow facility, with a whole new commodity that only been started for the last 20 to 30 years, but is still new, not even half a century old yet, a new type of commodity that they're doing. It's something else that will help out too in the way.
yeah,
And track storage.
yeah,
Like, my point is that this is big for that area, because the line's been abandoned since 1983. So it a big game changer, and it's big news, and it's something very good, because that area have not seen any good economy for since the 1980s. And saying is that the only reason that area is not as bad as everywhere else is because of tourism. They
yeah,
got the Cassinic up there, which is a tourist railroad, but also that's one of the reasons why
yeah,
that area did not went in downhill. But to think about it, if that were not there, a lot of those towns would be not in any tourist town. They would be ghost towns.
yeah. That's basically the last death knell of a railroad or a town, is if it's just being used for a rail or tourist passenger rail, and it's basically kind of the last gas to keep things alive. It's nice, but it's
Mm-hmm.
basically the writing on the wall is saying, yeah, this is not really being used for anything else. We're trying to keep it alive by having it as a museum or as a tourist attraction, and that's great and
Mm-hmm.
all to at least
And
preserve it. But it's telling as to what's going on in the rest of the region and the economy right there, is that, yeah, this grand
mm-hmm.
railroad that used to be, shuttling through so much product before and used to be a, representative of the industry around it, has seen better days. That's what it's saying.
Mm-hmm. And saying that, I'm going to say is that with them rebuilding a track, that's going to reamp life back in that area. That's going to bring a lot of people back to that area. Going to bring a lot of life back in that area. Heck, it might give Amtrak an excuse to extend into the upper half of New Hampshire.
Yeah, that's I have an article here for Amtrak. If we really were serious about Amtrak, how it would look like. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. There's so much opportunity that there is here in this country now. Let me see. The initial plans to reopen the
Mm-hmm.
mountain sub for 8 miles from Whitefield, New Hampshire to Gilman, Houghton says. The former paper mill site is now an industrial park, which that provides access to go ahead and move product into there instead of getting it on trucks. It's a lot more cost effective to move it onto freight rails, particularly into short lines, and then move it onto the class ones after that or wherever else. One customer has already located online at Hazen's, east of Whitfield, known to rail historians as the site of the country's last ball signal, which protected the one-time B&M MEC Diamond Crossing. And you can see it right over here, then the picture over here. Tracks will be improved from there
Mm-hmm.
to the railroad only outside interchange connection with the Genesee and Wyoming, St. Lawrence in Atlantic, and Groveton, New Hampshire. Wow. So there we go. So
Mm-hmm.
this is pretty good. This
And
is I'm liking this.
and and here, James, it's something that we need to keep updated on, because they're supposed to begin rebuilding a rail line this year. They're supposed to begin construction in March.
Yeah.
The
That's
track, they're already. like I'm already seeing photos on Facebook of the area of them already clearing out the old abandoned track and stuff. They're already clearing everything out,
Yeah, that's real good.
and that a good sign because it will bring a lot of life back in that area, and plus it would reinvigorate the economy in that area. It would not just be tourism anymore; it will be more industrial too, which is a big step ahead of stuff. You know.
Yeah.
The problem is you have anti-rail people, and let's be honest, the truck companies are not going to like that. You know,
Yeah, and
you're going
that's
to have people who are probably going to be pro.
no, I definitely get it, and that's the problem is that when it comes to truckers, I get it, I understand, we definitely need that. The issue with trucking is that there's way too much capacity. We're over. There's way over capacity of what we can have on interstates and on roads in this country. There's way too many cars. There's way too many trucks. We're stuck. Imagine if we were. That's the thing. Imagine if we were all to bring back manufacturing, within the span, I wouldn't say overnight, but let's say in a year. Okay? Truckers would be absolutely overloaded. The highways would be clogged up. There would be no way to move anything anywhere. That's why we need to
Oh
have
yeah,
again the railroads have and always will be the backbone of modern industrial America. Always has been, always will be. There's no way around that.
oh yeah, you got that right. That is right. And here, thing, this is what I'll bring up is that trucking it actually to the point where it actually coming unavailable in with how they're doing it. You know, it's unavailable in the way that they're doing it right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, I'm all for having
Like
any
it,
sort of options within the supply chain, but where there's way too much, and the problem with trucking, and we saw this during COVID, was the only way that they were able to run on the highways was only due to people not being on the highways because they were stuck at home and due to work. If you were to put many trucks, and I saw it here in Indianapolis, which is there's so many trucks that go here right in the middle of Indianapolis because we're in the middle of everything of the trucking and logistics industry. Is that imagine having and now after now with people now going back to work, the traffic has been horrific everywhere. The traffic is horrific everywhere around the country.
and you know what crazy? They are right now building a whole new rail line here in South Carolina for the Volvo plant up in Goose Creek. We got a Volvo plant that build cars here in Charleston, and they have a line that they started building back in 2022,
Nice.
and it right now 85 to 90% complete. They're supposed to have the line open up either by the end of the year or the beginning of 2026.
Yeah, I just wish Volvo would bring back like those old estates, the XC80 and the XC70s and those type of stuff instead of
Mm-hmm.
whatever Polestar silliness that they're doing. They gotta get rid of that. But
Tell me
anyway,
about
yeah,
it.
let's bring in some more and anybody in the audience, please be free, welcome to join. We have the link in the description. Go ahead and come on in. Hello, how's it
Mm-hmm.
going?
Oh,
What's up, ACB?
all right. All right. You bought up the states slash sports wagons. What the hell are we gonna make our freaking home?
Wait, I'm sorry. Oh, wait, what happened?
Oh, yeah.
No, you were just talking about estates, or should I say
Oh yeah, wagons. Yeah, we used to
wagons?
have. Yeah. Oh man, and honestly, I
Yeah,
think
but there's a lot of them on the used market though.
yeah, there's still some good stuff on there. I'm not saying like a Buick Roadmaster. I mean, I don't know. I
No,
still haven't
no,
seen
no,
any
no.
of those there, but I mean, yeah, those if if I
Like
could
three
have
series and the 2.5
yeah,
series here and there.
BMW's brought back their M5 estate now back to North America, so that would be cool. But it's insanely expensive, and you can't afford it
Oh,
anyway. And
for 100
plus,
K.
yeah, and plus it weighs more than an actual SUV, which is insane. But that's mainly because of
It's
the
ridiculous.
the hybrid battery that it has on board. Man, yeah, no, that would be
It's like
better.
40 miles of range.
Look, I'm a big fan of just having instead of SUVs, people should just have estates. You want to haul stuff, an estate or a station wagon is just going to be better off, and you can haul as many people on there as you had before. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
more efficient. Let's put it that way. Because now with SUVs
Yeah.
all over the road, I mean, you have more weight. It's larger. There's a larger spring travel, and it's just causing more damage to the road, which they're not paying for. They're not paying a higher road tax or
No.
anything like that. Which that's the thing.
No.
The whole way to solve traffic is get rid of cars. How we do that, there's a whole number of different ways to do it. Make communities more tight knit.
Yep.
Make it so people don't have to
Mm-hmm.
travel an hour to go to work. And no, I don't mean working from home, because what working from home does is not, it's not really working, and then people are not going out and going into public and being social again. So there's a way that we
No,
can,
it
yeah.
actually hurts the local economy,
Oh yeah.
especially cities like New York has suffered. I'm like 30 minutes away from there, and I'm a New York native, and from time to time I go back there. The It's a freaking ghost town, and congestion pricing doesn't help the situation either. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's ways that you can fund your infrastructure and public transportation without having to do that type of tax. Um, like tax breaks and encourage businesses to come back. But of course, you would have to, good example, clean up the crime situation and quality of life before you can even get that going. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's talks from the current Trump administration. Yes, some people aren't going to like it, but the thing with the congestion pricing, it needed approval from the Federal Highway Administration. That could be pulled at any time.
Yeah.
And the fact that they can yell and scream about legal challenges, well, federal supremacy, just like with in regards to the EPA. Um, those that are worried about smog and all this other crap, we don't use overhead. Well, sorry, we don't. I was about to use the wrong technical term. Most cars they use dual overhead cams and cleaner fuels than they did back in the 70s and 80s. We don't use carburetors, so you don't have to worry about the pollution issue. And the military and a lot of government vehicles don't use the emissions controls anyway. So there's really no point. And it actually makes engines less efficient, even with the diesel locomotives. I mean, except the tier 4 stuff, but for regular cars and trucks, it's overkill. And that's why
Yeah.
cars are so damn expensive. All this equipment and all the regulation. Not saying make the cars unsafe, but I know this has to do with rail and other stuff, but there needs to be balance in our transportation system. And reactivating old branch lines, what Dave was talking about, makes a lot of sense. But it has to be from not just, oh, we want to have passenger rail service, but to help bring business and break even is also to have freight run on there too.
Oh,
But you have
oh, that
redundancy.
right. Got. I got
No,
something real
fantastic
funny.
point, man.
I, I,
Hmm.
I was talking about it on a Facebook group, talking about the rail line up there in Vermont and Maine and New Hampshire. We have a guy that used to work on the rail line. He said that it's not going to work, but he a boomer. He a boomer. So I'm sorry, but even though I'm going to say that, just because you used to work for the railroad up there, and you used to work on it when it was still active, and you say, "Oh, it's not going to be working again. It's going to be too expensive." Just think about it. Times are different now. Am I right?
Yeah, and
Right?
I think
Especially,
from his perspective, he's seen, from the baby boomers' perspective, he's seen industry leave the country, and that's where
Uh,
that's kind of where they're going from, and it's understandable when you put it in that context of saying, oh yeah, it's not going to work because there's no industry. Well, if industry's coming back, like they've just connected to an industrial park, and like you were saying before, for South Carolina, having that connected to a Volvo plant, and hopefully they're not making electric Polestars out of that Volvo plant. They're actually making actual real Volvo vehicles. Yeah, you're gonna start seeing those those train cars getting filled up with cars, which funny enough will be supporting our economy. But yeah, it's less to do with cars, and I wish again if we could start making regular inexpensive cars here in the United States, and by inexpensive doesn't mean it has to be terrible. Okay. A Honda Civic from you still see them. There's still 90s Honda Civics that are still rolling along, or 2000s Toyotas. They're still rolling along. It's a matter that we can make it here in this country.
F-150 back then are still kicking around.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And I think a lot of that just has to do with just the status quo of making things cheap and that they work for 2 years and that the customer is going to come back and buy a new one. That's another thing we got to do.
Functional obsolescence.
Yeah, exactly.
oh, by the way, by the
equation.
way, Dimitri, I just sent you the screenshot of what he was telling me with him used to work for the rail line.
All right, let's go ahead and see this. I worked that last line in its last years. The paper mill in Gilman is long gone, and even if VRS does dump tons of money into it just to get passable, there's nothing else there. And if they do rebuild it, what would there be for bridge traffic? Also, yeah, that's exactly what I said. He's working on the context that there's no industry there and it's not coming back. But let's see. I'll not hold my breath waiting. Well, look, let's see what happens, because I think this is a good thing. Definitely when industry starts coming back, then they already have there. Because look, they're not going to just build a rail line just for the fun of it. They're building it there.
Oh, I know.
They have investors, and there's a reason why.
Business.
Yeah.
Interest.
Exactly. And this is
And the fact,
it's not vaporware AI this or that has like some white paper or some crap coin that somebody's coming up with and they're shuffling out. No, this is real infrastructure that they have to put down.
Coin, a meme coin.
No, none of that.
Exactly.
They actually have to put it down. They actually have to run a business. They have real equipment to run, real capital expenditure to go ahead and manage. It's not something that they can just flip off, turn off, and do a rug pull and run off to the Bahamas. That's And that's why if we build real infrastructure here, not AI, not fake stuff or whatever, no more chatbots. Let's build real stuff that gives people real jobs, something that they can touch, that they can have some sort of sense and feel of.
Technology that aids in the growth of that infrastructure. Of course, you're going to need that, but you can't just put all your eggs in one basket. It has to be a balanced approach.
Exactly.
oh, by the way, I will say this, and it's something I will be on it about, is that Vermont, Maine, and New Hampshire, even though the Vermont rail system planning to rebuild they're actually also help fund this,
Yeah. And
they're actually helping.
Yeah, because they know it's going to help out the industry. Let's bring on Minor Tree on here, and I know he posted something from Sean Duffy's X account. Let's go ahead and see that. How's it going, Minor Tree?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear, man.
You're gonna have to check on Lucid Stew because his personal favorite Pete Buttigieg is no longer the Secretary of State, and he's off crying in the corner about that. So you might want to check on him about that.
Oh boy! I mean, look, Pete.
What the hell?
I thank Pete for the money, but that's I don't even think he really pushed to really do much of anything. I mean, even people who I know are from South Bend, they're not really. They don't even know where the hell he came from. Let's be honest. It's just like, how did this guy even get into politics? It's just very weird. But anyway, let's see. Now for the current Secretary of Transportation, the Department of Transportation here. Effective immediately, the Department of Transportation will no longer participate in celebrations based on immutable traits or any other identity-based observances. These distractions do nothing to keep planes in the air, trains on the tracks, or ports and highways secure. In the wake of 2 devastating plane crashes, my focus is singular, enforcing the highest standards of safety and accountability. From now on, every day of every month, we celebrate transportation, beautiful infrastructure, and safety. Guys, it's official now. Every month is Transportation Month, according to... Did Pete ever do that?
Bingo!
No transportation. Transportation forever now. It's Transportation Month forever. Thank you, Sean Duffy. But... yeah, no, that's the thing.
Common sense back in the room.
Yeah, to what degree that and I don't even know if they released the pilots of the Blackhawks name or whatever. I at this point it doesn't matter. I don't think it did if it played that much of a factor in terms of it. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of, again, if what was the book by I'm trying to think. There was a book, not, was it Outliers? I think it was. But anyway, the whole point is that there's small little events and small little things here and there that amount to a large accident, and I'm pretty sure they'll find something in there, and it doesn't matter. Look, it's the whole system as a whole that needs fixing.
Oh yeah,
Accidents are going to happen no matter what, but if you prevent them, if you can do what you can to prevent them, like that's why in Japan, the Shinkansen, after 10 billion passengers, zero fatal accidents,
Zero fatality.
exactly, because they're working from a point of not surviving accidents, not accident survival, but accident avoidance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up prevention.
And to go on a point that you made before you brought me on, the idea of working from home, they actually did the research in late 2023, early 2024, and they found that done right, there is no difference in terms of performance from working from the office versus working from home. So let's make a compromise. Are you willing to make a compromise with me?
I'm listening.
All right. One, if you work at a job that allows you to work from home, I'll give you the offer. If your job does not allow you to work from home, it doesn't matter. You cannot work from home. I don't care if you're the best chef in the world. You can't work from home. You want to be a train driver? You can't work from home. All right.
Nope.
That's the first compromise we're going to have to make. The second one, you've had to have worked at that job for at least 6 months before 2020. So you have at least a 6-month track record of working at the office before you can work from home, and at least 6 months working from home. If your
And
performance,
it really depends on the job too.
yeah, but look, here's how I would do it. If your performance working at home is better than working at the office, we will give you the option of working from home. Let's say what, 3 to 4 days a week?
Like a hybrid works
Yes.
schedule.
You go hybrid, and it's like your work is equal. You can argue 2 to 3 days a week, depending on your job. And if your performance is worse at home than at the office, I'm sorry, but you've proven that you can't work from home.
Yep.
And
that would do a lot.
Okay,
yeah,
and that's the
when
thing.
you run the
If you have more blue collar work, you can't work from home in the factory.
Yeah, but for the jobs that you can work from home, it's like, all right, you run the Pareto rule. 50% of you cannot work from home because you have proven that you either don't have the motivation or you just need somebody to make sure you're actually doing the work. For about 30% of you, 30% of you will have a coin flip in terms of production one way or another. So you can argue for 1 to 3 days from working from home, depending on how good you are. That last 20%, you've proven that you're actually better working at home than working at the office. So it's like, all right, you have to come on these days for mandatory meetings, or you have to be on call for these hours. But other than that, you can work from home. And you know what you do with that? All right, you have lower traffic and you can have more remote work. But at that point, it's like, all right, now you're giving people options. But if you're like, you cannot work from home, then all of a sudden those 20% will find places that offer it or start their own business.
That's true.
So all of a sudden it's like, all right, you want to have good competition? Here's your good competition. And then it's make it so it's easier to start businesses and all. And it's like, all right, now you're getting competition to the bad actors and those that are entrenched in the industry, which can really undo a lot of issues.
Yep. And also that can work in government too.
Yeah, but when it
They
comes
had
to
a collective
government,
bargaining.
when it comes to government, only 10% of them are working, and then another 10% are working when you're looking. The
Yeah,
rest are
but
hiding
when
out
they're
in
not looking.
the rest are hiding out in the staff break room.
The pencil pushers.
Yeah, if they're actually working at all. There was an article
Oh,
speaking of now the federal workers being asked to come back to work. They've been going ahead and saying that they're going to protest by not visiting any of the local businesses, that they're going to bring sandwiches to go ahead and work. It's like, okay, yeah, buddy. Yeah, sure. See you next week, and
Yeah, whatever, buddy.
you'll be down at the Starbucks paying $30 for a sandwich. Don't worry, we'll see you there. But now, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just funny. And it just goes to show you how kind of petty some people can be. But I mean, I understand with the drive that they have to take. It's not fun driving in DC. It's probably one of the worst places in the country by far in terms of traffic.
Oh, forget about it.
Yeah, but and I get that. But
I've
look,
been there.
if the most commutes, if we could find a way, and of course we know there's a way to do it or eliminate the commute completely where people don't have to drive the train. But regardless, if there is a way that we
No.
could reduce the average commute in the United States to, instead of 45 minutes to an hour, that it became 15 minutes to 30 minutes or 10 minutes to 15 minutes, that would be something where people would say, okay, it's not too much to go ahead and they don't have to deal with that much traffic or anything like that. Again, it comes down to giving more people options in terms of transportation rather than saying, yeah, you can work from home or go and, not really do much of anything or go to the office and, to have a terrible time with the commute. But yeah, it comes to that.
one of the
Or a
one of the
given
easiest
job site.
options. Well, one of the easiest options that has actually worked around the world for thousands of years is just change the zoning laws.
Yeah,
Allow
that would
mixed
make it
use
easy.
zoning. That would be the quickest way of solving it, and then adding additional transportation options would also help. But if you're like, all right, some of you can work from home, now all of a sudden it's like, all right, you gone from pick a city, any city, to go from 85 to 95% of the population getting to and from work in their own personal vehicle. Now all of a sudden you can move it down to say 60%. And that addresses the worst parts of rush hour without much issue.
Yeah,
True.
it's
Definitely, the zoning does play a big part in that too. Like, um, not saying to build high rises, but mixed use developments that blends into the local environment without
Yeah.
being such a freaking eyesore. That's
Well,
what I get from some people.
well, you can do what they do in Paris. And it's like all the buildings are between 6 and 10 stories tall everywhere in a very similar motif citywide. And then you just have the central business districts with buildings above 20 stories.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And
That could
also,
work.
soil conditions play a part too, and
Yeah. And they're
depending on
talking
how big the
about,
buildings are
and
and
different
other
places are
structures.
talking about uh, an advanced timber idea, which is about as strong as steel and much lighter. And it's like, I've looked into those building designs. Like the tallest one is currently 30 stories tall. And I'm like, besides the much more wood that's used, the theoretical max height is anywhere from 50 to 70 stories, depending on wind speeds, directions, soil quality, and all that stuff. But it's like, all right, that's the majority of buildings in the world, other than the fact that you're having to cut down way more trees to build said buildings instead of using concrete and steel. So it's like, all right, you want to go environmentally friendly route? There's that way. You want to build your steel and glass eyesores that you can pick a random city in the world and it looks exactly the same? You can go that route. It's like, just bring back the more traditional design motifs of old, because
Yeah,
yeah.
because nobody likes the glass and steel buildings, but they do like looking at the beautiful Gothic architecture.
Yeah, the use of more stone and concrete, like real concrete, that can be also used in there. I mean, the thing is, you see a lot of these buildings, and they're building now a ton of suburban housing in this area where I'm at right now, outside of Indianapolis, and I mean, they're basically made out of twigs. It's all this platform framing. It's terrible. Even the whatever they're putting in now, it's already falling apart. They haven't even put in the sheetrock walls, and half the sheetrock walls
Well,
are
Not
falling
even
off. I
sheetrock.
they're
It's not even that.
they're
It's
doing
Wait,
the
not
hold on.
same
sheetrock.
here.
Let
I've
me,
looked at that too. It's not even sheetrock.
yeah, it's not even that. It's I don't even know what the heck it is. But let me see if I can bring the picture of
I
it.
don't
But
know either.
yeah, oh man, the sun got into it. But yeah, you can kind of see over here. This is what they're building. Look at how cheap this is. I'll put it
I
on
didn't mean to
Discord
cut you
too.
off, man.
No
But it's
worries, no worries.
ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's falling apart already. They haven't even finished building it up. Let me see if I can just put it on the Discord right now. But yeah, this is just how terrible. And they're gonna be asking probably $300,000 for that. You know, yeah, we're using cheaper materials. Okay, but so is the house gonna be cheaper? No, it's gonna be more expensive than it used to be before. We're just inflating the price of it up because we own the land and there's nothing you can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see
I
where
think it's time for the government to crack down
Oh
on
my
this
God.
stuff.
Oh man, but yeah, this is just
Oh, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of
it's
time.
nuts, man. Where's the Discord? But anyway, yeah, you guys keep continuing on. Let me see if I can put it on the
Yeah,
general chat here.
yeah. I mean, for the most part, once you break it down and separate the cost of the house versus the cost of the land itself, the land itself keeps its value quite well, but the house tends to be a depreciating asset.
Yeah, there we go. All
Mhm.
right, so
But
I put it up on there. Yeah, look at it. It's already it's already a hole in it. It's like somebody already fall through it. It's oh man.
Wait, where's the picture?
Okay,
Where
I
is
just
it?
put it on the general chat. Actually, let me see if I can just.
Oh yeah.
It's
No, that's me.
this is
yeah,
just
yeah,
Oh my
I'm gonna have to
God.
stop looking at that so I don't throw up.
this is just yeah.
Oh my
I-
God.
they're doing the
That's not
same
even
here.
housing construction. The
Yeah.
hell is that?
Yeah, this is housing in America right now. And they're gonna ask you to pay $300,000 for this. And look,
For
I
that
don't
poor
know.
excuse of a
Look,
house?
I don't know how bad this is. I don't know if this was just the movement or whatever, but it seems like it's kind of bending around the frame. I don't know if this is just my camera and the movement, or if this is for real. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, but it looks like it's bending around on the frames there. But yeah, this is what we're building now.
Just cheaply made.
Yeah.
Those houses are not going to last very long.
No, not at all, and they're probably not made to. And this is the problem: is that they're building these all over the place. You know, here you go: Haven Ponds Preserve at Brookside, Vintners Park, Taylor Morrison new houses, Beezer Homes Colonnade. Oh, it's got basements. There's basements. Northwest Fortville from the 300s. $300,000 for what is it for this? Wait. What am I? What are we getting? This thing here?
Or is this pretty cheaply made? I don't know what the hell to call it. It doesn't even look like a house. It looks like a tree house or
Yeah,
something.
this is no. I've seen tree houses better built with that. The timber they're using is like not even old growth timber. It's like these. They have these timber farms where they'll just crap them out when the tree's like 7 years old, not even. So it's not fully formed. It doesn't seem right. It doesn't have the proper waterproofing or It's just bad. I don't have to explain it any other way. This is not acceptable.
Yeah, if you want a good tree farm, the tree's gonna be at least 30 years old.
Yeah, this is just this is
It
nuts.
looks like a structural hazard. That's what it looks like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm not versed on the building codes, but I know there's tons of violations and looking at a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah, this is just bad, man. I mean,
It is.
I just look. There's so many different ways that we can build houses, and it just doesn't have to be like that. We can build it out of stone or out of concrete or concrete blocks or something else. If you want to use steel, and yeah, you can definitely use wood, but don't make the whole thing out of crappy cheap beams and then expect me to pay premium prices.
There's
No,
YouTube channels dedicated for
just
homes
like
built in
so
different
infrastructure.
styles around the world. I mean, they've had homes built in caves. There's homes built in oh what's the design motif?
Like Earthship.
Yeah, Earthships. I mean,
At least that's more stable
there
than what we just saw.
yeah, there's hundreds of different styles that work, and it's like, oh, we can't build those because they don't provide a value to the community. It's like
Mm-hmm.
made out of local materials actually are better insulated than your current crap. Will last hundreds, if not thousands of years, whereas yours is lucky to last 50.
Yeah.
And for the best part of it, it's like they can be made anywhere in the world, regardless of what is going on at the moment.
Yeah, there's still.
Your struggle when the price of lumber goes up 10%.
Oh yeah, no, this is just lumber and timber haven't gone down since COVID. I mean, they just shot up, and of course, everything went down a little bit, but I mean, it just we're expecting to pay premium prices for subpar construction, and
Yeah,
that's what ticks me off as well as most of everybody else. All right, let's bring in Adam
that's
Everywhere
the same thing with the cars.
and
Oh,
Star Force.
Adam Everywhere probably going to be talking about the same stuff I'm talking about because I seen his article that he posted in chat.
All righty, let's bring him in. What's up, man?
How you doing, everybody?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey,
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Star Force.
y'all doing good?
Um,
Yeah, we all doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
so
Talk about the crappy
speaking
state infrastructure
speaking
and build
of-
quality.
housing
Hey,
infrastructure.
Look at the hubs.
I'm honestly
Speaking
not.
Oh.
I'm honestly not sure myself if it's better to actually be in an older building like from like the 1920s because the at least the apartment that I'm in is like was built in like the 1920s, and even though it's like it's old, but it's like it's not cheaply made.
It's well maintained, in other words. It's been looked
Yeah.
Yeah.
after.
Well
Oh, speaking
maintained,
of
good
Al-
materials and good good structure to start out with, and yeah, it can last a good long time. I mean, there are apartments in Rome that are 2,000 years old that people are still using. I mean, yeah, they're not going to have all the best amenities, but people are still using them, and you can retrofit them to have all the latest equipment or electrical lines and all that sort of stuff, piping, whatever. I mean, this is just
And then that's what a little bit happened.
yeah.
Mhm. Speaking of that, Alan Everywhere, I seen your post talking about CXX.
Yes,
You want to
I was looking there online to see what actually makes sense.
Yeah, I brought that. Hold on, let me see if I can bring it over here. There we go. Okay, so oh man, and trains got me. Okay, CSX track improvements allow restoration of direct Pan Am New Brunswick Southern interchange in Maine. Let me see if I can get the archive on that while we're waiting. I don't know why. Every time I've gone on trains, every single time, for some reason, it doesn't understand that I've already signed in. But anyway, let's see if I can get that going.
That merger did open a lot of doors, though. Not just for CSX, but even Amtrak. They want to expand service up in Maine because of that merger.
And this is one of the reasons why they're talking about rebuilding the mountain sub. You know, this is one of the reasons why CXX is the actual reason why Vermont Rail is talking about rebuilding the line and are actually going to be doing it because of CXX. Y'all get where I'm going?
Yep.
That's
I mean,
Perfect
come to think
opportunity.
about it. Yep. To come to think about it, with they probably saw the writing on the wall with this past election. With a lot of companies, they started making moves because the tariffs also means more domestic production over here instead of overseas, and everyone would benefit from that. But what
More
most
incentive for domestic production, not guaranteed domestic production. And it's a slight difference, but it makes a massive difference overall.
Oh yeah,
Because
that for sure.
because you have to get people willing to build domestically versus paying the tariff, which doesn't seem like much until you realize, all right, if you're not doing it, they're going to have to raise the tariff time after time after time until it actually is cheaper to build domestically versus starting now and then saying, all right, this is going to happen in a few months. Here's time for you to get your butt into gear. But since it's now that the tariffs are coming in
February
and
2nd.
now the counter tariffs are coming in, it's going to be a little bit more expensive for the near future.
Yeah,
But
but long term we would benefit from it.
Yeah.
yeah, it comes down to how much pain people are willing to put themselves through in order to get to that better position on the other side. If done right, if done right, the tariffs will be redundant once domestic production gets really into high gear.
True.
That for sure.
Yeah,
That is
they're,
true.
they're
Oh,
they're putting their eggs now in this basket, knowing that in the future it's going to pay off. Because if that's the thing, a lot of the companies in the last year or so were sort of holding their breath to see what the election would bring about, or whether the election was actually going to go on. But anyway, they got once everything was settled, and they said, yeah, it's going to be Trump, and he's going to be doing these tariffs and trying to bring back domestic manufacturing. That's when now you're starting to see a lot of this shift into what we're doing now is seeing a lot of these industries building up, or short lines now starting to build more and more into these areas where infrastructure was there or can be rebuilt, and you're seeing this now. So anyway, YouTube is
yeah.
Oh yeah.
asking now to see if we can talk about more transit. So Adam, you put this picture over here, this Atlanta area rail network showing current route of the Amtrak Crescent over here.
Yes. I was trying to figure out if there's an alternative or a better routing for a central rail hub in downtown Atlanta.
I've been hearing talk about that for quite a while now. About
I was wondering the best part.
central Atlanta.
Only I can think of it. Train has to back up into downtown area in order to serve the downtown area station, and then it routes back to the main line.
Okay,
At
there
some
we go.
point, there needs to be a through station through center Atlanta. Also, they still want to build. I think the EIS study was done. I don't exactly know off the top of my head, but a study was done for Atlanta to Charlotte HSR, and what Atlanta could be for the Southeast is a major rail hub. So the current situation with the long distance Amtrak station isn't going to cut the proverbial mustard. So the fact that this is being talked about now and being planned long term, that will come to fruition at some point. It's not a matter of if, it's when, because the
Matter
current
of when.
station arrangement is
Okay.
not going to
First, we got the
really
station.
do for a high frequency amount of trains. Doesn't matter which direction it's coming from, you need a through station, but it has to be in the center of Atlanta where it is already, or should I say, can be served by MARTA and all different modes in one place, or at least within the same district, instead
Asking
of what they have right now.
asking for a through station in Atlanta, you're asking for way too much there.
It can't help me.
But it's
Oh, man.
necessary. If it has to
I
be
know it's necessary,
underground,
but
so
you're
be it.
asking for way too much. Can't you ask for a study for the study to study the previous study?
that that's what, like, that is the thing that is my biggest pet peeve in this country. What most people don't get when it comes to infrastructure projects is when it comes to regulations. Study for this, study for that. Um, our railroads were built over time, but they didn't need studies. It's like, great, let's just figure out which way we have to go and we'll deal with those problems when we come across them. Now, you would get sued for eminent domain and all this other crap now.
Oh no, you're gonna build that line right through this
secondary
area
track.
where this flock of birds fly by every year and has never been hurt by anything. Oh, that we can't have that.
Just like that stupid smelt or some kind of endangered species that half the time
It's
Yeah.
invasive
that they make up.
to that part of California, for
Oh,
one,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
two,
It's a pest.
they care more for the fish than they do the millionaires' houses that burn down.
Yeah, it just didn't make any
Yeah.
sense. Well, I mean, it made sense. They just didn't want to
It's a
build
rough
it.
example.
Yeah,
does.
it has nothing to do with
It-
the funding. It just has to do with political will and just getting it done. And I think that's what this presidency is now showing. You can just do things. You can just I'm going to just do an executive order, and yeah, it's Gulf of America now. Or yeah, you know what? Tariffs. Fee fi fo fum. I declare a trade war. Whatever.
Drill, baby,
now
drill.
you're the governor of Canada.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, we can do this sort of stuff. And here's an article now. Like, a new study looks at adding 15 additional long distance routes to Amtrak, which would dramatically expand access. Yeah, I've been hearing this stuff for the last 20 years, guys. We're all getting older. We're all hearing about this. It's like, yeah, it'll be cool. We can do this. This would be great. But it's like,
in the ground yet.
okay, let's just do it.
Put up or shut up.
I mean,
That's
yeah.
my thing.
I see FRA long distance service study. Yeah, if they can just go ahead and look, we got a new presidency now. I think there's ways that we can be able to get it done. Let me see. The study's findings underscore the growing interest in train travel that's been sweeping the U.S. in recent years. Amtrak saw itself record ridership in 2024, with new routes quickly surpassing expectations. Other companies have come into the fold too, like Brightline, with its plans to develop high-speed rail options. So yeah, look, this is a thing. It's happening. Let's get on it. There's nothing else more to talk about or bluster or anything. We get the study.
Just get it done.
Yeah. If the FRA instead of just spending more money to do another study, just go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and pick one of these routes, whatever. I don't care which one. Just pick something and just do it. Of these preferred routes.
Can we pass a law that if anyone suggests that we should do another study to study the previous study that was studied right, that we're allowed to slap them in the face repeatedly on the spot?
That's the thing. It's like, when it comes to this sort of stuff, it's like, guys, we've been doing studies ourselves since we were in school and stuff like that, just out of just a sheer passion project. I don't know how many times I've seen that either online or even on this club or anything like that. It's like, we don't need the federal government to go ahead and spend whatever billions or millions of dollars. It's probably not billions, but you know what I mean. Spend millions of dollars to go ahead and say, yeah, it would be great if we could do with this and it would bring millions of passengers. Wow. What a big brain thought right there. Wow. If really, you mean putting a high rail line between two big major cities would bring more people around? Wow. That is just an Einstein thought. I mean, that's the ridiculous thing.
Steve, just pack your bags and go walking through the woods. Tell us the best way to build this line, and we'll pay you when you get back. There, study done.
Oh,
question
man.
is, where is the funding?
Look, and now.
Oh, speaking
yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Speaking of that, I found a funny train meme for y'all.
Oh boy.
No.
Oh, not great.
In the general, it's in the memes.
Okay.
No, it
No,
live
okay, hold
chat.
on, I got it. Hold on, let me open a browser here. Okay. Oh, it's The South Park reference. They killed Cal Unit Productions. You bastard. Oh man. Facebook page with the photo name starting with FB. Oh man.
Oh, I've seen that. What the fuck?
I think we had to win that.
Oh man.
We really went off the deep end. Just
Yeah, look, this is the type of stuff, like when it comes to Sean Duffy, what he's saying is like, yeah, you know what type of people you need when it comes to managing a complex system with a lot of inputs and outputs. You kind of need the autistic people for that. Okay, and the towers, not people who are though. I actually I googled it. Guys, remember that one time where somebody recorded it? It was something that it was between a pilot and somebody in the air traffic control tower, and this woman literally comes out and says, "Yeah, I actually googled the no, that's not something you should be googling. It's something you should be knowing, and not having a fight back and forth. Yeah, with the pilot. This is and when it comes to this sort of stuff and to managing trackage, to managing that's the type of people you need, and I think." A lot of it has to do with, in this day and age, a lot of particularly younger men have been disenfranchised and disinterested because that social contract of saying, yeah, go to school if you're smart, you can be able to get all this done. You can go ahead and get a job if you want to be, and you'll be able to earn a lot of money. That's not happening. Where forget the money part. It's just at least having a comfortable life. You can have a family, you can have a home. That hasn't been a thing in this country for quite a bit, and that's why you're seeing a lot of people just either checking out of society, or things aren't happening. That's why things are kind of falling apart, because the people who would be building them have checked out of society.
Not to that, but also it's so expensive to live. People are not even wanting to raise kids anymore. People are just buying dogs and being dog parents now. You know.
Yeah, but once you do the math, owning a pet is not that much in terms of cost compared to raising a child.
Oh yeah, no, there's people spending a lot for having a dog or a cat. I mean, how many times have you gone to a mall and they have a little baby stroller for a dog? You know, it's just you expect the baby in there, and it's like some bug-eyed chihuahua in there instead.
Or French bulldog, like not against Frenchies or dogs, but come on.
Yeah, and look, I love dogs too, but that's the thing, and I think Pope Francis for sure had a point when he said that people are replacing their children with dogs, and it's not a healthy thing. It's not, and it just goes to show you it's a symptom of the wider society in general. I mean, it's another thing is that you have a lot of younger men who are smart, 130, 140 IQ. They can be high achievers, but they're kind of stuck in a dead-end job because there's really no upward momentum, and they're just stuck down in
upward mobility.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's really none of that around in this country, and I think blasting open the doors to having blue-collar work and having that available, that will really just fix a lot of the problems in this country when it comes to the drug issues, when it comes to the depression issues, when it comes to the people not eating right. When people have a purpose, when people can build something, that's when you start to see a major change.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
and it looks like Grand Trunkline wants to join us as well.
Yeah, let's bring him up on here.
Windhammer, if you want to join us, raise your hand.
There you are. Just bring it in. No, raise your hand, but don't do it like Elon Musk raising his hand, okay? That's
where he just gives his heart out to everybody in a weird way. But let's just ignore all the other politicians that did the same thing in the previous months.
It's not like Google tried to erase that, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Oh man!
I haven't got a meme about that.
What's up, guys?
What's happening, Grand Trunk? All right.
Nothing. I just gotta I just woke up. Just worked last night.
Yeah. I took a nap before I came on as well. It was a good nap.
By the way, By the way, look what I just posted in the live chat.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Windrammer saying, I'm sorry to talk, but I can recommend a railroaded video you can react to if you want. Yeah, sure thing, man. I totally understand. No worries. We're not pushing anybody to do anything here. Hypocrisy from the
No.
media. Yeah, this is just, it's just silly. He was just being a spurg, that's all. Come on. Let's just be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
somebody or almost everybody is on the spectrum some way, shape, or form nowadays.
Oh yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
promise you, he was not thinking about the Roman Empire on that
The
day.
American state has
Even though you're supposed to at least once a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see this video. I mean, man, Windram. Did it have to be an hour-long video? But let me see. Okay, unless it's just this part
Something
here. Let me
short
see.
at least.
I'll just look at this part here for like a minute. Okay, fast train to China, tours cabinet of curiosities. This is I haven't heard of this channel, but okay.
accidentally killed itself by autoerotic asphyxiation.
Oh, but not
Private
decapitated.
companies
But
don't have to
calmly
hire
seated.
Americans. If
My bad.
Brightline wanted to put someone from Spain in charge
mixed
to
up some
determine
stuff.
how to build high-speed rail that seems to be cheap, fast, and good, they could.
But that
Whereas
is
if the
that
California
meme is funny but true. Am I right?
Yeah. All right, this is pretty good.
But you're not supposed to be true with your memes. It
Yeah, it's supposed to
adds
be.
a lot of irony.
Yeah. Okay, so that was a good use of alliteration there that this guy's used. The American state has accidentally killed itself by autoerotic asphyxiation. Private companies don't have to hire Americans. If Brightline wanted to put someone from Spain in charge to determine how they build fast and high-speed rail, they could. Whereas the California high-speed rail tried that, it would be a bureaucratic nightmare. They would have to hire people in the U.S. who know how to build high-speed rail, and that's zero people. But the real boogeyman is the thicket of the so-called environmental laws that end up being worse for the environment than doing nothing. That's true. In most blue states, anyone can sue to stop anything from being built if they can link it to some kind of environmental impact they think it will have. And of course, if you can hire a good lawyer, you can twist anything around and make it sound environmental. Karens have used environmental regulations to stop homeless shelters from being built in their neighborhoods. Businesses have used environmental regulations to prevent competing businesses from opening up next door. Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of these regulations are really being used by, the people who so-called have your best interests in mind. They're being used to just build, this sort of garbage. This is what the environmental regulations end up building. Something that's not environmentally, if somebody were to sneeze
Or physically sound.
yeah, if somebody were to sneeze a cigarette over here, this whole thing is going up in flames. This is exactly, and that's the problem. The reason why California went up in flames is because they used the environmental regulations as one of the weapons, one of many weapons. Okay, the many weapons of malice, neglect, and idiocy. That was just used to go ahead, bludgeon the people, keep things as business as usual, collect tax money, and keep the merry-go-round of politicians and lobbyists in there. That's it.
Yeah, and I'm trained for wildland firefighting, and once you realize that you need to prescribe burns every now and then in order to prevent a larger fire from going through, and not only did they prevent them, they actively persuaded people not to do any burns, and then they prevented any natural burns from happening. So when the big one actually does come through, it's much hotter, it's much more devastating, and if it gets hot enough, it can actually kill the seeds that are in the ground that will sprout up after the fire comes through.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
and it's like,
worse for the environment.
that, and it's like, where are we going to build these new homes? Do we put it in these good areas? No, let's put it in the fire-prone areas.
Yeah.
That will never backfire.
That's the problem. There's really little to no responsibility over any sort of destruction that's coming down. Let's just stick to California, and I know we'll be talking about this in a bigger video. And I'm almost done with the script. It's just now a matter of just making sure that everything's put together and then starting to gather all the footage and the editing. The editing is always the fun part. That's oh man. But anyway.
Yeah, I know that pain.
Yeah, and get Windrammer, thank
I
you
know
for the
it's not
video.
easy.
Yeah, that was a good suggestion. Thank you for putting that and for putting it exactly on the timestamp that it needed to be. That was fantastic. Thank you. But Yeah, this is the issue is that there's really no responsibility. These people will go into office, and there's very little time where you see them. If they get arrested, they'll find a way to get out, or nothing really ever happens. I mean, a lot of that was the thing that really got me with Trump this in this term right now. And why I'm more positive than I used to be, because like, okay, he got elected, I'm like, all right, yeah, maybe the economy's gonna be better, but I mean, he's just gone like off to just start going ahead and ripping out these executive orders out and really getting in front of people's faces like he did with and that's why a lot of people there from the California area were clapping when he ripped on that one guy. And he's saying, it's people like you that this sort of stuff happens, that we can't build anything anymore. That was a quote that should be, he should put that, put that in the Oval Office and look at that every day. Right next to that bust that he has of Teddy Roosevelt right there, and just having that. This is why we need to start building things again. And we need to start getting rid of people who don't want to do that. They just want to be there, have the position, get paid, go to all the meetings or whatever. They don't even go to the meetings half the time. Yeah, and that's the problem. It's business as usual.
I would say I would say turn that into a form of a statue pointing at him, but I don't want that other guy to be remembered in history. So let's just ignore that person for the rest of human history.
Yeah, let's see. Let me see. Somebody posted here map 1892 map of Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, I don't think that's a lot, and that's the thing. A lot of the stuff in the South just got burned down. There you go, Union Depot, Atlanta Cotton Factory. Yeah, look at that, and look at where everything is close to railroads. You still have roads, and these roads were here mainly for it. They just changed it up and say, yeah, now we're having cars now. But I mean, that's the thing, is that the heart of every city was a train station. And still, the heart of most cities still now is a train station. You go to any city now, it's like,
train station.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, you want to revive a city, start bringing back its rail infrastructure.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that for sure.
And some cities still have the tracks there. All you have to do is modernize it, maybe electrify it if you want, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, here's the regulations. Let's cut it up so you're on par with the airlines and the trucking companies. All right, start building out the stations. There's going to be what, $1 to $10 million each.
Yeah,
and then it's like, all right, you have 10 stations. Have at it.
Yeah, what's the crazy
And
thing,
this
Adam, is that
also helps the airline industry too. It takes stress off of domestic air travel.
For
And
some,
it gets them to focus
some
on
routes,
longer
yes.
haul flights.
Yeah, it's like, who's going to ride the train from New York to LA? Then you're like, maybe a couple, tens of thousands a year, but it's like, all right, how many are going to take New York down to, say, Baltimore?
Not talking about that.
Yeah,
but
you kind of have to specify, because when it comes to domestic in the United States, we're talking about basically something the size of a continent. We're talking about short haul flights and more regional flights.
like between 200 to 300 to at most maybe 500 miles max.
Yeah, like
But the long,
flying from Atlanta to Charlotte is a little silly.
yeah, there should be a train that leaves from Atlanta or Charlotte every 15 minutes.
Ideally, 15
either one.
Yeah, ideally 15 minutes would be kind of normal for a lot of nation states, and closer to 10 minutes would be better, but I don't know if the demand would be there.
But
it would be.
Think what's the normal commuter in Atlanta or versus everywhere else?
It really depends on the lines, but starting out, like, it should be like a minimum of every 30 minutes at peak times, and then off peak it's like every hour.
Yeah, for most of the world, 30 minutes is, for the rest of the world, 30 minutes is nights and on the weekends, and in the United States, 30 minutes is considered the ideal.
Yeah, that's like the bare minimum. They're usually running like 7-10 minute headways.
Yeah, or going from suburbs to midtown or downtown and then leaving in the afternoon.
If it's all day 15-minute frequency, then you advertise it, that's how you get more people to ride the service, and it's convenient and it's comfortable. People will use it.
Yep.
They will.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that for sure.
Oh yeah.
You will use it for sure.
Yeah, once you look into it, it's like as long as it's consistent and reliable, people will take it without ever
Bingo.
double checking, because it's like, all right, I missed the train. The next one's going to be here in 5 minutes. Oh, I can wait. Versus, oh, I missed the train. I look up and it's like, the next train's going to be here in 55 minutes. Oh, I learned my lesson. I'm not doing this again.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
that's not even just trains in the
That's
United States. I mean, even that's a lot of the reasons why people, apart from the safety issues on bus lines, but it mainly has to do, there's a lack of consistency and efficiency when it comes to riding on any sort of transit in the United States. You missed your bus, yeah, forget it. Your time, you better get walking, because it's going to be better to walk for an hour than to wait for the next bus in 2, if it even comes over.
Northern New Jersey. Cough.
Yeah.
Double lines don't even run on the weekend or Sunday.
Speaking of, here's the article I was talking about. New York City, two cops on every New York City subway train at night starts next week, Hochul says. So yeah, that's another problem in the United States. I mean, it's just one thing after another that we have to deal with. It's going to take a lot to fix this.
Schedule, and you got
It
a Sunday.
will.
Yeah, to the point that, look, the FTA now in September 2024 issued General Directive 24-1, required actions regarding assaults on transit workers. This is a thing in this country now, that you have to have a safety that's paramount to protecting transit workers, because people are getting, either shot, stabbed, pushed, whatever, and this is nuts. This is something that we shouldn't be having to deal with.
A thing in the first world country or in any country.
Yeah. You don't see this in Singapore. You don't see this in Tokyo. I mean, you're starting to see this in Europe now, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, you didn't see this in Europe 20 years ago.
I'm probably sure that if this happened in Singapore, the person would be beaten within an inch of their life then thrown in front of the judge.
I think that's the thing. We need more kind of a Singaporean type of lawfare over here. That's what we really need to start getting. Okay,
bring back the nightsticks.
Yeah, and I'm not saying let's just copy everything that Singapore does. Like, no, we need something that's got to be.
We're not like that.
Because I can hear I can hear somebody in the comments going this tickling on there. Like, actually, I lived in Singapore. Actually, their law enforcement is bad. Look. It's adapting to what works here.
It's like, all right, let's bring Singapore over here. It's like,
ATF.
If we brought Singapore over here, it's like, congratulations, you got this massive fine. What did you do? You were chewing gum in public.
Yeah, it's like, look, we're not. I don't want to ban people from chewing gum. Okay, that's ridiculous. Now, if you litter and throw gum on the yeah, that should be a fine.
Say, not chew on the subway, but you can chew outside the subway.
David got kicked out.
What happened? Okay, in Singapore, the guy that set that woman on fire would probably be sentenced to death in Singapore. Yeah, it works. Trademark. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, in Singapore, the homicide rate is a fraction of what it is in the U.S. Yeah, look, and it's understandable that yes, the U.S. has its own issues and problems, but these are problems and issues that we can work with and we have worked with before. It's just a matter of being that you're saying, yeah, let's actually do something with it. And look, two cops on every
have a DA who would actually prosecute. Yep.
Yeah, and two cops on every subway is perfectly fine. But if they're just gonna stand there and do nothing, and if somebody gets prosecuted, that they're just let out
to do their job.
Yeah, and then you have the bail reform nonsense over in New York City and in Los Angeles now. They got rid of that. Yeah, so it's like, okay, you did something wrong, you could just leave, more or less. You have to bring some sort of sense of justice for the public to be able to feel safe. Otherwise, they're not going to want to ride, which is part of the problem here with a lot of people in New York, is that they're now being forced to go ahead and say, okay, you have a choice: either pay for the toll to go through congestion tolling, or risk your life on the subway. That shouldn't have to be a choice.
No, it shouldn't be.
Anyway,
Where-
Darius is on. Here we go.
All right.
Let's bring him on.
All right. Hey, can I
Uh-oh.
say what I was trying to say?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
It's that
What?
they're talking about
know
getting rid
exactly
of
what we're
the
talking
ATF.
Wait, hold
Plane
on.
crash.
Wait, hold on. David, go ahead. Go ahead.
They're talking about getting rid of the ATF.
Thank
Please.
God.
Please.
Do it.
Please.
Do
No,
it.
No. Let's be reasonable here. Let's not get rid of the ATF. Let's just turn it into a convenience store that sells
Oh,
alcohol,
yeah.
tobacco, and
That's
firearms.
a better
That would be
idea.
better, yes.
As long as you can pass a background check for those firearms, not this 20-day mandatory waiting period crap. If you're not on any international like watch lists or you're not like wanted, then you could pass a simple background check too. Yeah, you should be able to purchase a firearm. And if you
Knights do
can,
not have any of that. Knights don't have any of that. You could just there might be some stores that might not sell that might ask for ID but that's just for rage and that's it. For the most part, you can just go in, get a kitchen knife and get a little
yeah, but now
If
even
they wanna
where's it
get
now in
knives
the
in your
UK?
it doesn't matter
Yeah,
what carry laws are there.
are they
Anyone who
taking
has a
people to
bad
jail in
intent is
the
gonna
UK now?
carry it.
I mean, that's
But legally speaking, you can own a cannon. So we need our
Talking to these
right
guys.
to carry howitzers to work.
You know,
have a
Barry, hey guy, you know what's
certainly
funny?
not
You know what's
overkill on
funny?
the MTA. I'm just gonna bring the old cannon on, and the next time I get on the
Demetrius.
the subway.
or the old Chicago
Hey guy,
typewriter.
All right, guys, one at a
You know
time.
what-
One at a time, please. Go ahead, Darius.
Are we talking about something very, very major and big today? Something very too fiery for us to throw a miss?
You're talking about the Philly air crash in. Oh my God.
No, I'm talking about the Tiki Hut and fire. What else could I be talking about?
Wait, okay. Are we being literal here,
Rail
or
Club. We talk about transportation.
yeah, that's what we're talking about. So we're talking about
Yeah,
we
we're
already.
just.
I think you missed it, man. We already covered the air accidents, but if you want to chime in,
Air disaster.
yeah,
I didn't know you were on today.
yeah, if you want to chime in on it, if you have any opinion on it, go ahead, be my guest. You're welcome to talk about it.
All right. I don't know what else to say. A lot's going through my head. Airplanes are still statistically the most safest way, but once there's a little incident in a plane, everybody goes down.
Yeah, I think that's the
Like in
problem is
midair.
that there's honestly trains and there has to be some sort of math to this that because here's the thing. That's mainly based on per miles per passenger. And yes, there are less passengers on the plane, but they're covering a heck of a lot more miles. So the
And they're going a
algebra,
lot faster.
yeah, the algebra in that is just going to come out and saying, oh, look, you see, it's actually safer per mile. But when you look at trains and how many passengers they take, it's a lot less. And I'll probably argue to say that if we were to take that and actually do it per capacity, per amount of passenger taken per trip, not per mile, that trains would probably be the far safer option per passenger per trip, not per mile.
Are you?
That for sure.
Yeah, what once you look into it, it's like if a plane has an accident once every 500,000 trips, it's
I
considered
hope you're not going
one
to
of
scare
the
me back into trains
no,
and ships.
no,
Because
if
we need how are we? This is the only way to travel like the world, like planes.
yeah,
It's made our world literally short.
No, I get that. Let me finish this point. Let me finish this point.
Yeah, if a plane has a single accident, not a crash or anything, just a single accident once every 500,000 trips, is considered one of the least most reliable airlines ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're registered in the millions, if not hundreds of millions of trips per major accident. However, once one does happen, it's major news. But no one's talking about, the 1% failure rate in rockets, even though a rocket keeps blowing up every few months.
Yeah. Speaking of rockets, so this was an interesting article. Hold on. Elon Musk keeps launching it. This was like a week ago when he had that one rocket blow up in the middle. Elon Musk keeps launching rockets, and that's causing trouble for airlines. So there may be a need to start getting more trains here, and especially if Rocket Man starts doing more of his rockets here. And I don't mean Kim Jong Un. I'm talking about Elon Musk over here. So if you guys remember,
Rocket Man Jr.
Yeah. If you guys remember this, all the debris that was coming in. So that debris that was coming down shut down a whole bunch of airports, and a whole lot of airlines had to reroute their anything that was in the air and have holding patterns. Yeah, numerous flights entered holding patterns, circling as they waited for the debris to pass. 4 Delta Airlines flights diverted for refueling purposes because of the closed airspace, an airline spokesman told Business Insider. Flights from JetBlue and Amazon Air were also among those forced to change course, the FAA warned. Yeah, that's the problem. SpaceX had a rocket launch, and it didn't go so well. An air traffic controller said in an audio recording archived by liveatc.net. One pilot reported seeing a, quote, major streak of debris going from at least 60 miles with all these different colors. So, yeah, it looks cool. So success is certain, but entertainment is guaranteed. I don't think if you're a person, and I know this, if my fiance was on that flight and she saw that, she'd be pointing at that and freaking out. As any person would be on there and saying, "Wait, what the hell is that going on?" Like lights out. You're 30,000 feet up in the air, and you see that happening next to you. You're gonna freak out.
Launch from Texas, close Florida down. Launch from Florida, close the Bahamas down. Which would you rather close?
Yeah, this is and that's the thing. It's like, yeah, look, there has to be some sort of balance. It's not about stopping any sort of progress, but it's about saying, look, if this is going to become a major thing, we're going to have to find some way to work with this. And maybe having, more rail transit, more high-speed rail, so you don't have, airlines shutting down, or at least having some sort of thing where at least airlines, and I'm pretty sure, look, this was something that was going to be major news. I'm pretty sure they all were aware that, there's a rocket ship going up in the air, and there's a possibility it may explode into a million billion pieces and be streaking across the sky. That's going to be a possibility.
At least fast regional trains to complement the airlines. And in some markets outside of the U.S., they have partnerships between rail operators and airlines. If there's an issue with the airspace, customers' tickets will be cross-honored with the railway that they're in partnership with. And what I was trying to say earlier, I meant distances between 200 to 500 miles, not like cross country, but in certain corridors, it would make the most sense. So when we have a rocket being launched and it decides to blow up, it doesn't affect travel to that extent. People can still get around where they need to get to, and they're not hindered by airline delays. And not to mention, our air traffic control system is completely out of date. That needs modernization too.
Oh yeah,
just like
modernization, a revamp, and I mean, I don't know if, correct me if I'm wrong over here. I believe that they were understaffed. From what the reports were saying, that they were understaffed at the Ronald Reagan Airport, and
I think two people doing the job of several people. Wait, was it 3 or was it 2?
There was supposed to be 2 for doing airline duties, and then a third person that was supposed to be doing for helicopters only. But somebody, well, according to the actual report, since 2023, they had been understaffed at least by a third of their necessary staff.
That makes sense then. Yeah, and that's a problem, is that you can't have that happening, because at some point, maybe you have 2 people and they'll be able, and to have enough close calls that nothing is going to happen. But that's the problem. At some point, it's going
You're
to
flirting with
snap.
disaster.
Exactly, and that's what we have right now. Now, I don't know
Um,
about
when
the one in Philly. I don't know
when
that
I first
anybody.
heard about when I first heard about this about the FAA program about hiring people with severe psychiatric intellectual disabilities.
The
Yeah,
whole
that
DEI
was a
shit.
If they could
that
do
was a
that,
Biden era event, and
Oh crap!
right
We need that
now
shit out again.
completely understaffed.
Yeah,
it's understaffed,
Leftover.
and the qualified people that can do it were not hired
Sorry
because
about
they were not of the right ethnic makeup or not a right
I'm
approved group. So
I know.
some
Or they didn't
lawsuits have
take the
been
jab.
put out there.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
either one way or another. Yeah, it all helped to contribute to it. It wasn't that they had some paraplegic LGBTQQ whatever working there or anything like that. It had to do is that it caused staffing issues. They were underpowered, understaffed, undermanned, and eventually it caught up to them.
Overworked.
Yeah, and overworked. That's another thing too, which is why you're
I
having an
am in middle of a call right now.
yeah, which is why.
Please do not call right now.
You okay, David? Or was that somebody else?
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. That was reason why all that was glitching out because someone called me on Messenger and it caused everything to glitch out on Discord.
I get you, man. I get you. Okay, so that's one that solves one problem there. But yeah, no, that's the thing is that you have these little. It builds up and it compounds to a point that one of these straws is going to break a camel's back, and that's what happened. Now, I'm not quite sure what was the actual cause of the accident in Philadelphia. From what I saw, I think it looked like that the plane fell apart midway in the air, and that's why it was basically barrel rolling down to the ground like that, and there were pieces all over. It looked like pieces of the Learjet just flipped into pieces. So I don't think that had to do with air traffic controllers unless there was something else. I mean, I don't know if there was more news on that.
We'll know more from the investigation, but right now they're still getting the black box and going through the data.
Yeah.
And right
But I
now
would
they're
assume
still
it's probably mechanical.
That's the
right
most
now
likely
they're trying to blame it.
Yeah.
They're trying to blame it on who right now.
Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with that. I definitely think like you're right. I think what happened in Philadelphia is definitely a mechanical issue. What happened in DC was definitely the fault of a whole lot of things. Number one, if you guys have been at a Black Hawk, there's a lot that you can be able to look out. Now, there were some people saying that they, some guy had, or some of the pilots were training and they had NVGs on, night vision goggles on. And looking through night vision goggles is like looking through toilet paper tubes. You're not going to really see that much unless they had, even the panel vision, night vision, which they probably had on there. You can't really.
It's very limited.
Yeah, you're basically like this. You can't really see up or down or anything like that. Which, why would you have that on when you're still working with enough ambient light around in an urban area? But I don't know. There's more to be looked at over here. But this was something that. If there was one or the other, it was definitely on the chopper pilot than the pilot of the Bombardier, the American Airlines flight, because it was already
when you're wearing.
I don't mean to cut you off.
No worries. But yeah, it was already on approach. It was already about to land, and at that point, you can't really see that far out. I mean, look at the windows, and you have this giant nose in front of you. That's tilted up, so you can't really see it. All right, I'm not trying to go ahead and act like an expert or anything like that. I'm just saying this is just more common sense. If there's anything at fault, it's definitely much more on the Black Hawk than on the plane itself. But this is becoming an issue in the United States. It's like it's like they say, 1 is an accident, 2 is a coincidence, and 3 is a pattern. This is one away from becoming a pattern.
Yeah. When you're wearing night vision goggles, you lose all depth perception. So, assuming they didn't assume that the plane taking off was the plane they were supposed to get behind, which might have been the situation, but we'll have to figure that out, and that won't come out for weeks, if not months. We're still not going to know what led up to that issue.
Yeah. So it's
Because if it was that miscommunication, then that will basically put all the blame on the helicopter pilot. But if it's something else, then we probably won't find out for at least a year.
yeah, which is and it's terrible what's going on. And again, these things take a long time to get solved. I mean, look what's going on with here we are 2 years out of East Palestine from tomorrow, and
Still no
Oh
closure.
yeah, that's tomorrow.
yeah, that's tomorrow, and they're basically getting what $22 million in a settlement on top of 13 and a half. Norfolk Southern has already paid to upgrade the water treatment plant, replace the fire and police equipment, and the rail company's $25 million commitment to improvements at the East Palestine City Park. Most people say that it's not enough, and they're not really solving the issue. That they're just paying money, and then that's it. Let me see. Instead, Northrop Southern is giving the town ownership of the property for their own use. Yeah, I don't think this was solved, and this wasn't the closure that was needed. Let's put it that way.
No.
Agreed.
I mean,
Yeah. Let me see. The mayor said that perseverance defines them. Our focus remains on unity, resilience, and the well-being of every resident as we continue to address health, economic, and environmental priorities. That's the problem, is that you pay money and then you're just going to leave them. And part of the contract is that you can't sue Norfolk Southern anymore on any sort of damages from what happened, whether it was health-related or anything else. And that's the problem. These houses are now worth nothing because nobody's going to want to move to East Palestine after the environmental damage there. The water is still contaminated. The ground is still contaminated. They're not going to fix that, or they're not going to offer to, move people out or buy their houses or property out for fair market value for what it was before the accident happened. But yeah, look at this. While looking ahead to a stronger East Palestine that will thrive for generations to come, he said, it's despicable rail safety legislation is being held up in Congress. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like this stuff needs to be. There's no closure unless this sort of stuff doesn't happen again, and unfortunately, it's going to happen again to have the same sort of results. Whether it's some other Class 1 or Norfolk Southern again, they pay a couple $1 million and then that's it. After earning billions of dollars in the year. And
they
after
need to pay with a pound of flesh.
Yeah, there's going to be this. It's destroying lives. There has to be some sort of justice. And this isn't enough.
Forgive me.
Go ahead.
Forgive me for what I'm about to say, but how in your right fucking mind you allow a freight train over a mile long, and then on top of that,
3 mile long. 3 mile long.
Yeah.
3 miles long. What like that, and then of course, like you're told by dispatchers, because Norfolk Southern, they do their dispatching out of Atlanta. They do some of the most outlandish shit. Like I've heard chatter where they wanted a crew member, or they wanted a train crew to tie a 2 mile long freight on a mountain, like on a gradient, I think out in the Alleghenies. And basically he got told by the locomotive engineer or the conductor to go take a hike. Because there was no way that he was going to be able to tie that long and that heavy of a train up a mountain. And not just they don't maintain the infrastructure, but they don't make the sidings long enough, where people want to wonder why passenger trains are delayed. And they also have all these grade crossings and all these vulnerabilities with the infrastructure, which if anyone is shifty enough, by the way, I'm not encouraging this, full disclosure, some of these bridges are easy if you place explosives well enough on certain piers. You could take a bridge out and they won't even know it. They won't know it until it's too late. Not encouraging it, but that's how shitty our rail system is.
Yeah.
And then we can say,
I get the
our food system is the envy of the world.
I get you being so fired up about it. Believe me, I am too. But we gotta we gotta tone down on the language a bit. So here's another thing. According to Associated Press, a $600 million settlement approved in September in federal court with roughly 55,000 regional residents claiming to be impacted by the disaster is tied up in appeals. Yeah, that's a bit more substantial there. $600 million settlement, because it's not just the people in East Palestine. It's also the surrounding area too, which has been affected because
remember the mushroom cloud. Anybody?
Yeah, all those it affected not just East.
And you know how,
it went throughout almost the whole Northeast.
And you know how long it's going to take before real financial compensation, and even then, it didn't seem that much is going to be finally spread out. Look at what happened with Camp Lejeune. It took until 2022, over 40 years after Camp Lejeune closed.
Yeah, again, that's it's the same thing. It comes back down to that there's little to no responsibility for any of this sort of stuff, whether it's the fire out in California, or the accident over in East Palestine, or the airline accidents that just happened now, or just the general malaise that this country is in right now, infrastructure wise. There's little to no responsibility about it, and if we can't have anybody responsible about it, you can't move forward. It's like the same thing for an addict. An addict can't go ahead and fix himself unless he figures out that he's an addict. That's just it's simple, and that's the problem with this country, is that we can't go ahead and point and say, yeah, this is what happened, and we have to fix it, because we can't even point to what's wrong.
Well, I could point towards one.
Pointing the finger, passing the buck on to somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, we could point out one of the finger out clearly, and we've been talking about it for a long time, is that everybody is addicted to the car like the car is a drug. Like, literally, the car is a drug to everybody.
Yeah.
It's an effective tool that it's one of the most effective tools that we've ever had. It's simply a tool. It's neither good nor bad. It's just how it's used.
Bingo. Yeah, that's well put, man. Well put. And we haven't been using it the right way. That's the thing. It's like, if you want to solve traffic, get rid of cars. I'm oversimplifying it, of course, but you have to decrease the amount of cars that are on the road. And there's so many different ways to do that. Building better communities, building more jobs that are closer to people's homes, not building all these suburbs that are built like garbage and then all over the place outside of city centers or outside where people need to do, and then inflating the prices up to the point where people can't afford them. This is not a way to run a country or a nation. We need to
just get the bad drivers off the road.
Yeah, that's well, bad drivers, yeah, that's one, and that's like what 90% of people driving anyway at this rate.
That's true.
You know, funny thing is, a lot of our infrastructure, like when it comes to transit, and let me bring it up for transit, is that when it comes to our transit infrastructure, instead of having transit where it connects to the neighborhoods, then to like restaurants and businesses, or to the industrial park, everything that's on the main road, like car dealership, like almost all the bus system here in my home city of Charleston, South Carolina. And I'm going to bring it up. Moab doesn't even go into the neighborhoods at all. You can't
it's only
even
on the main roads.
Yep, only on the main roads. And the problem is that it's so infuriating, because it literally, I have talked to people, and I actually had to do that myself. You had to do almost a 20-minute walk from a house or a restaurant or something, or like if you live somewhere, to get to a bus stop, to get to a mall, or to a Walmart, or to a restaurant, or to an Amtrak station, or all of that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's completely understandable. Yeah, this is just something that we're all living with, no matter where we are in this country. We just see the problem. It's common sense that if you don't understand it, or you just don't want to see it.
Yeah.
It's a problem. It's just what it is. All right, guys, we're gonna end this over at 9:55. So any final comments or anything else we want to share?
Yeah, I just looked it up in the most.
I hope it doesn't end up the same way.
Yeah, and I just looked it up, and we almost forgot that today is the most important holiday of the year, Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day.
Okay.
And Puxatony Phil said that it's going to be 6 more weeks of winter.
Good. I like
Uh,
winter. I like winter.
It started snowing up on me again.
No, I'm not being sarcastic about that. But anyway, okay. So let's see.
Yeah. I mean, the Pro Bowl's going on, but we need to know about Groundhog Day.
Okay, let me see. Let's get some Groundhog Day. If you guys haven't seen the movie with Phil Murray, that is a darn good film to watch. Yeah, you guys have to watch Groundhog Day. But yeah, there we go. Okay, so he did see his saw his shadow predicting 6 more weeks of winter, and I don't care if the Noah says that the groundhog is wrong. The groundhog is always right. I don't care.
Not Puxatony Phil. Staten Island Chuck, I think you believe, has mostly been right. And you know what he predicted? Early spring.
Yeah, it's starting to look, and you know what? It kind of is starting to look like an early. I wish it was more winter. I like snow. I like having different seasons.
Me too.
I find it enjoyable, and I find it. Look, at the other big thing about it is that
it's just starting to love the snow.
It
when
makes,
I was up there.
I know, but it makes you more aware of the passage of time, because when you live in the place in the South and it's always summer and it's always hot and it's always humid, years can go by and you're like, oh, shoot, years have gone by, and it's not like where you see you're physically seeing time change, seasons change. That's what I like. But anyway, and I like hiking through the snow and that sort of stuff because I'm nuts.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Adam Besser.
We have a warmer and a cooler season. It's borderline tropical.
Hey, Dimitri, look at the snowman video I just sent you of me kicking a snowman.
Okay, hold on. Let me see that. Yeah, that's what I said. Winter is fun. Look at this. Here, look what David was able to do.
Little snowman, go.
To what I said.
You just yeeted the snowman. There you go. Everybody, the whole internet can see. David yeeting a snowman.
And to answer Adam Besser's question, yes, military training helicopters can fly by an active commercial airport, though training flights are usually done in less developed areas just in case, but you do the flights wherever you can.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're in contact with ATC if you're in their airspace.
Speaking of that, I got some official news. The Portal Bridge project is 95% complete.
There we go. So hopefully we'll get some good news in saying that it is finally complete, and then it's the rest of the Gateway project to get going.
Oh, I know that for sure. And then also they are actually in April. They are going to be getting the Avail Liberties finally up and running. They done said that there won't be no delays and everything. Everything is set up right.
Yeah, that better be happening. But let's see, because that'll be really great to see. Finally seeing that in actual revenue service. Alrighty, guys, it is 9:55. We are here. We've arrived at the station. This has been fun. I really enjoy these. You all enjoy these, so this was good. All right, everybody. Thank you all for riding on board this Arc Lounge on the American Rail Club.
I'm still not afraid of taking to the air.
Yeah. Stay safe out there, guys. David, go ahead.
I prefer to fly myself.
Transportation system.
For long distances. Everything in its place.
Yeah.
I hope everybody enjoyed the live stream. Please like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you all. Thank you for riding. Godspeed. Take care.
Adios.
Take care.
Thank you.
Later, y'all. Later.